Take a look at this man. What can you assume about him based on the appearance? The weak stance, the frail posture, and a helpless expression on his face. This does not look confident at all, and you certainly wouldn't want to stand like this if you wanted to assert dominance or show confidence. What can you assume about him based on the appearance? But what if I told you that the very man that you see here can also do this? Girls, get yourself a man who can do both. The man that you see here and here is Edvard Munch, a Norwegian painter who is mostly known for showing how people look when they wake up late on a Monday, or when you find out there are people out there who eat pizza crust dipped in Diet Coke. But this is a very different painting. It's called Self-Portrait in Hell. And while you might think that it's just that, a self-portrait in hell, there is so much more beyond what meets the eyes. So let's read the canvas. In this episode of Art Sight, we'll be looking at Self-Portrait in Hell by Edvard Munch. Let's get started. Here's a question for you. Would you be shocked if I told you that this painting is used by the artist to express his emotions? And here, in this very painting, Munch is trying to express both pain and confidence. You must be thinking, where does pain come here? This guy certainly does not look that he is in pain in any way. Let me explain. Before we understand what Munch is trying to express through this painting, it is important to know a little bit about Munch. Trust me, his life was far from boring. Saying that Munch's life was sad would be an understatement. The man basically never saw a happy moment in his life. Here's how it starts. At the age of 5, he lost his mother to tuberculosis. He was never too close to his father, but he was quite close to his elder sister, and to be honest, she was the only person left for him. But that did not last too long. She died of tuberculosis when he was just 14 years old. Her death had a big impact on his creative expressions. We'll see more about that later. But first, let's go back again. The death of his mother and his sister were not the only death in his life. His brother died after getting married, while his younger sister was afflicted with schizophrenia. But he had his father, right? At least there was one person in his life who could understand that. Not exactly. Munch's father was not the most supportive kind. Munch described him as temperamentally nervous and obsessively religious, to the point of psychoneurosis. Trust me, you do not want to grow up with a father with these qualities, especially when you have suffered so much of loss. And Munch was aware of that. He knew that the seed of insanity was transferred to him by his father. He knew about his mental conditions, and he used paintings to express his pain. Which brings us to the next part of the video. Artists usually paint scenes, sights, and other things they want to show the world through their eyes. For example, Van Gogh showed the beauty and colors of the night. Monet showed how just an impression of the world can be so captivating. But Munch showed his emotions. He did not show the world the way he looked at it. He showed the world inside him, his pain and his turmoil. What Munch did was less of expressionism, which is exaggerated display of certain emotions. Munch's paintings were called soul painting because it showed his deepest emotions. Emotions he could never express through words or action. His painting style was his own creation. It wasn't an art movement or a particular style. It was just an expression of the self. Take a look at this painting. It is called The Sick Child, and it was painted in 1886. This is the first soul painting by Munch, and it shows his elder sister in her final days before dying of tuberculosis. Now, as we told you, the death of his sister had a big impact on his life. Well, to many people's surprise, painting one's emotion was not accepted back then, because this painting was met with a lot of criticism and negative response. Basically, people were saying, please don't show us the death of a child. Keep the trauma to yourself. We want to see sunflowers or scenic mountains. But Munch knew what he wanted to paint and show. Poverty, death, loneliness, mental and physical illness, superstition, abandonment. We cannot expect Munch to paint water lilies and scenic sunrise when all the man had ever seen was darkness and death. Coming back to this painting, Self-Portrait in Hell, I think it is important to know Munch's mindset to understand this painting. This is what Munch said about his life and the traumas he experienced. In my childhood, I always felt that I was treated unjustly, without a mother, sick, and with the threat of punishment in hell hanging over my head. One has to realize that for Munch, these self-portraits were a channel to express his emotions. They were not just self-portraits, but his autobiography, and he did a lot of self-portraits, probably the most I've seen by any artist. Starting all the way back from 1882 with this painting called Self-Portrait. Then we had Self-Portrait with Skeleton Arm, Self-Portrait after Spanish Flu, Self-Portrait in Bergen, The Night Wanderer, Self-Portrait with a bottle of wine, or Self-Portrait with Cod's head. Let's just say that Munch wasn't canvas shy. But out of all the self-portraits he made, Self-Portrait in Hell is the most fascinating one. Because here, Munch is not actually in hell, but he's just trying to show us that if he were in hell, he would not be scared at all. Look at his posture. He's standing with his chest puffed, arms wide apart, straight back with those eyes full of confidence. No matter how much you look, you cannot find a single sign of fear or helplessness in his face. His face has the red glow from the fire underneath. His body is glowing as well, almost as if he is the fire of hell. But the question still remains, what was he trying to express with this painting? We know that all of his paintings express some emotion. So what was the emotion associated with this one? What Munch is trying to show here is the idea of a place, not actually hell, but it's an idea of a hell. A place filled with smoke and fire and demons, and all of these things do not scare him at all. He is not scared of hell. But why? Well, the answer is simple. Because his life has been something scarier and more traumatizing than a very hot place filled with demons. He has had demons in his mind. He is aware of the torture they had inflicted upon him all through his life. So much so that this man turned into this man. I think these two paintings must be viewed at the same time if you want to understand Self-Portrait in Hell. While the paintings were painted 40 years apart, the idea behind the painting remains the same. You would expect this man to be in hell with his frail posture and weak appearance, but that's what life has made him into. Years of pain, trauma, and a complete lack of happiness turned Munch's life into living hell. Why would he be scared of hell when he had already mastered it? So he stands here with all the confidence that he was lacking in his life. But there is also something that might have caught your eyes. While the background is just a reddish-brown blur which shows fire and smoke, there is a dark figure right behind Munch. What is that? Or more precisely, who is that? Well, many people will be shocked, but that black figure is Munch himself. In hell, Munch could be his true self, and he always knew about the demon that lived inside him in his mind. Here's something he wrote regarding his mental illness. I cannot get rid of my illnesses, for there is a lot in my art that exists only because of them. Munch believed that while these illnesses affect him a lot and stop him from living a normal life, a normal, happy life, they were also the reason why he was able to create something, make these paintings, express himself in such ways. These illnesses made him feel things and these emotions that he could express through painting. As a result, you get paintings like these. So in conclusion, Self-Portrait in Hell is just a way for the artist to show that while life treated him badly, it is hell where he shall shine with his confidence and strength. If you're here till the end, thank you so much for watching the video and showing all the love that you're showing right now. Consider subscribing. We're trying to bring more and more of these painting analysis every 2 or 3 days. So if you really like art and knowing about these paintings, consider subscribing. Thank you and have a great day.